Hello and welcome to the Wayne County Cooperative Extension Service, and welcome to the Clay Studio. I'm going to take a moment to explain clay recycling today, and we'll be doing so in a separate studio space. So follow me there and I will see you in the next clip. I just wanted to give you a visual on how clay can be recycled because it's not a material you have to throw away. It's very forgiving in this regard. It can be reused. So with that said, as you can see, this is my pottery wheel, and the tray has an accumulation of shavings and clay from other pieces that I've made. And what I would do at this point is transfer these shavings from the tray to a container or a bucket. And as you can see, there's some shavings in one of them. And what I would do is pour water into the bucket until it reaches the top and let those shavings sit for a couple of days or however long it takes to turn them into mush. And the mush is in the other bucket here, as you can see. And then at that point, what I would do is take the mush and line it all out on a block of plaster. And the block of plaster is going to slowly dry this out so that I can then re-wedge it to the consistency it needs to be for creating new pieces. And that's all it takes. So now that you have a better understanding of how to recycle clay, just know that it takes time. That transitional period from when the clay is mush up until it's at the right consistency for re-wedging can take up to several days, depending on how much clay that you're recycling at a time. And if you do have a block of plaster, as I was explaining in the last clip, that will get the job done faster. You can use other materials like wood, sheetrock, and cardboard. They are effective, but the plaster is going to do a better job at drying the clay out. So take note of that, and as a review, as I was explaining in the last clip, you will also need buckets with water to break the clay down before you begin to dry it out. And one other comment I will leave you with is to keep your clays separate. If you're like myself, you use a variety of different clays. As I was explaining in the last clip in the demonstration, I was using red clay for that, but I also use white clay. And I keep my white clay in its own bucket and my red clay in its own bucket. So please keep separate buckets for your own clay. If you're not familiar with pottery and haven't done this enough, it is important to keep them separate, because when you mix a bunch of different clays together without knowing what kind of clays they are, you will learn that the hard way, as you discovered that certain clays are low fire and certain clays are high fire. You can't mix low and high fire clays together. You can keep low fires together and high fires together, regardless of what colors they are, but and you can get a neat marble effect that way if you mix the clays. But for the most part, I think clay looks better when it's consistent with what it is, whether it's solid red or solid white. So that is what I would recommend to you, especially if you are a beginner with this medium. So I am going to conclude the video for today, and we'll catch you another time when we discuss another topic.